Did you know that there are some countries that might disappear? Let's find out about it by Gattsu. I haven't watched their videos before, but this video is called Countries That Will Disappear. I'm Mystic. Welcome to Mystic Racks. Let's get on into it. Only thing I can think of is like Japan and Korea's declining birth rate and their old ages. But let's see what there is.
Hong Kong is a country that has a 100% chance of disappearing in the next 13 years. Genuinely, set your
23.
clocks. 23 years and Hong Kong is just another Chinese city. Hong Kong is a fictional country near Shenzhen created by white people, more specifically the Anglo-Saxon tribe. During the Qing dynasty, the Chinese were balling. They were selling silk, tea, and porcelain to Europe in exchange for silver, and they were getting that back, and the United Kingdom did not like that. China was enjoying a trade surplus with them, and it was not fair, you know, they had too much cool stuff. So the United Kingdom cultivated a bunch of opium in India, which they had colonized at the time, and were smuggling it illegally to China, which caused a massive drug problem in Chinese society, to the point where 10% of their population, or 40 million people, were hopelessly addicted to opium. China destroys a bunch of illegal opium shipments, and then the British get mad because this time free trade is not benefiting them. Kind of like today, where China enjoys a trade surplus with Europe, and Europeans are like, no, this time free trade is bad. No, free trade is bad when it doesn't benefit us. No, tariff. The first opium war happens over the Chinese not wanting to have 10% of their population basically addicted to crack, and then they end up getting jumped by the UK and France, and Hong Kong gets ceded to Britain for 156 years. Then it gets ceded back to China in 1997, but with one thing in mind. China promised that Hong Kong would retain its capitalist system, legal system, and a way of life for 50 years under the principle of one country and two systems. 50 years plus 1997 is 2047, so that's about 23 years from now, and Hong Kong will be just another Chinese city. The people of Hong Kong have protested a lot against any Chinese influence in their country, but you know, the world isn't all skibbity and butterflies.
It's not.
And also, they are literally under obligation that this happens, so this country has a 100% chance of disappearing, and China becoming even stronger because now they'll have Shenzhen and full ownership of Hong Kong, which are right next to each other. One of you gotta go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch Dini by his toes. In a prison he will go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah, I think it's gonna be this one. South Korea disappearing in the future is more than likely. Not because of any legality such as Hong Kong, but because of their insanely low birth rate where people will just sadly pass away and not have anyone to replace that population. Their current population is 51 million people, and in 100 years, their population is projected to drop all the way down to 20 million.
Which
like,
is still
as soon
a
as
lot.
I dropped the video on South Korea, the same date, they announced their birth rate went even lower than it already was in my video, going from 0.72 to 0.68. And 5 days after I uploaded the video, the president went goblin mode and declared martial law and tried a coup. The opposition party leader literally live streamed himself climbing over the parliament gates to outvote martial law, and then after the failed coup attempt, the president said this was because he was feeling lonely and needed someone to talk to. Like, what the fuck? What are we even talking about here, bro? Moldova is a fictional country here in Europe created by a Georgian man, Joseph Stalin. Now, why Stalin created Moldova and why he convinced them that they speak a different language than Romanian by changing their letters to Cyrillic will always be buried in his beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy mind. I don't know. Why did he put a pedophile serial rapist in charge of the KGB?
I guess we'll never know.
Moldova is basically Romania, with the official language being Romanian, except they were touched with Stalin's magical hand, which means they also have a territorial dispute with Russia. An even more fictional country called Transnistria inside Moldova. As you can see, they are a very real country, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Just look at their flag, and their second official flag being, of course, the Russian flag. And their main city square has a statue of a Russian general, which has the flags of equally fake countries that are Russian proxy states, this time in Georgia. And since Moldovans are Romanian and their official language is Romanian and their flag is the same as Romania's with an eagle on it, there have been public polls for Moldova to rejoin Romania, with 50% of the people supporting it as of April 2021 and 7% being undecided. This would mean they get to be in the European Union and NATO, and also Romania would become absolutely fucking huge. It is already a huge country ever since they took territory away from Hungary, and now it would become even bigger. Honestly, Moldova is already on their way to join the EU within the next 30 years or something, because we know how EU membership processes go. So I think they will either join the EU on their own or will rejoin Romania. Taiwan coming in at a whopping birth rate of 1.25. Now, the reason why Taiwan will disappear is very debatable. Will it be that their birth rate will fail them, or will China declare to denazify Taiwan for their biolabs or whatever Russia uses as their excuse and launches an invasion against them? Taiwan is a much more important country than most people in the world realize. You're watching this on your phone, TV, or your Samsung fucking fridge, and all of them use computer chips. 90% of all the most advanced computer chips that get made in the world are made on this island in Taiwan. So if China takes Taiwan over, get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. And since Taiwan's biggest ally is the United States, it is extremely questionable whether they would actually help them or be like Germany when they offered to send helmets to Ukraine when Russia invaded. Remember, kids, the only thing worse than having the United States as your enemy is having the United States as your ally, as we saw during the Russian war against Ukraine. Mind you, Ukraine literally gave up its nukes so they would be protected by the United States, and they just went, you know what, nah, I'm not feeling like it. So as if China isn't already the biggest economy in the world, biggest army in the world, and basically the biggest superpower in the world, them getting Taiwan would literally make them undefeatable. They already make everything you and I own, so if they start getting 90% of the world's chips as well, all my videos will be getting translated into Mandarin. Just be sure about that. You have to understand how much money they have. A couple weeks ago, they dropped $1.4 trillion on some bullshit like customer confidence. Like, that isn't even a real thing. They just dropped $1 trillion like that. This is like Doom. Whoever controls the chips controls the earth. If you ask a lot of people, they will tell you that Kosovo does not exist already. It is just a huge void that belongs to either Albania or Serbia. And I do not think Kosovo will exist in the next 50 years at all, because I think it will be either a part of Albania or Serbia. I think the only thing that will change is that if they become a part of Serbia, the Bill Clinton statue from their center will be removed. Otherwise, they will still be broke, part of Albania or Serbia. Neither of those countries are known for their technological, scientific advancements. One is known for cocaine and the other is known for dick riding Russia. Kosovo isn't suddenly going to look like Shenzhen or something when it becomes a part of either one. There's only falling homes and political extremism to be found in those lands. And if they become a part of Albania, then every second post on the internet for about a month will be Albanians posting Albanian flags and greater Albania maps. Although, since the Prime Minister has enough time to see ISO speed the same day on short notice, I do not think that such a thing would happen. I don't know, man. The Balkans are all wilding out too much. Either make Yugoslavia again or give it all to the UK. I'm tired of seeing Balkan nationalists everywhere and watching my words, remembering which one of them is the stereotypically gay one, the lazy one, and the racist one, and the racist one, and the Nazi one. Like, I don't care, bro. Just give everyone a break already and give that territory to the UK. Fuck it. At the beginning of Bro, nah, the Balkaners are not gonna like what I just said. They gonna get my ass into Tbilisi, bro. At the beginning of this year, a Russian document was leaked which dated back to 2021, which planned Russia infiltrating Belarus politically, economically, and militarily. As if they haven't already done that, since I'm like 70% sure these two have at least kissed each other on the lips. And in this document, it was said that the main goal was the complete integration of Belarus into Russia. So they would go from basically a satellite state to a full integral part of Russia. Seeing as I also border Russia and every other country that borders them has border disputes with them, the Belarus annexation plan seems pretty likely. And honestly, if you don't think so, I do not want to hear your opinion about Russia unless you're from a country that borders them. And Alaska doesn't fucking count. The only country that doesn't have a border dispute with them is the big dog China, because Russia can't do anything against China. Quite the opposite, actually. They actually gave them territory in June of this year. Yes, sir, I won't forget the balls next time too. And surprising literally everyone, the Belarusian leader does not like this plan. Any move by any politician in that direction would be quashed by the Belarusian people. Us joining Russia? Out of the question. It's impossible and impractical. I'm sorry to say that would mean war. Hearing this was like that scene from the interview where Eminem comes out as gay. Like, what is that happening? While for the first time ever, I agree with Lukashenko in something, right? That would mean war is a crazy statement. Because with what, bro? All they have is like 60k military personnel and Soviet-era equipment. And seeing as Belarus is already a Russian puppet state, this would obviously be the next move for the imperialist power of Russia. And then Poland would have to deal with bordering Russia proper instead of their puppet state. I'm sure sure that will be very, very peaceful and will not cause any problems. And Belarus is not like a low-level puppet state either. They stationed Russian troops north of Ukraine, from which they also invaded. So Ukraine had to fight on every front except their west. There are also a bunch of island countries that are predicted to just be underwater
Are
if
you
sea
ready
levels rise,
for
such as Maldives and Tuvalu. And bro, Tuvalu already looks like this. They're already like 80% underwater. The sea level can rise by 1 centimeter and they will be living in SpongeBob. Guys, I'm about to tell you some bullshit, so just prepare. Reading this made me look like that one Kanye West picture, like it's so stupid. So the amazing free market brought us this idea on how to save Tuvalu. Don't worry, Tuvalu, Trump is here to save you. Donald Trump will save me? Yes, Donald Trump will save you. We will build a big wall, a nice big wall around Tuvalu, and make the fish pay for it. 2 years ago, at the 2022 UN Climate Change Conference, the foreign minister of Tuvalu, Simon Kofe, that basically said that Tuvalu should be recreated in the metaverse in case it sinks. And like, surely there is a way to not have to do that, right? Like spending that money on raising land, which they do already. But hearing a politician say that they're so cooked, they should move their country onto the cloud, just makes me feel like this picture.
We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello, this is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
But it is still a real competition between who disappears off the map first, Tuvalu or Europe and the United States. Depending on who bumps who, Tuvalu might just outlive all of us, which would go kind of hard actually. Also, whenever you guys start bombing each other, do not involve me. I'm Georgian. I don't have shit to do with either NATO or Russia or the EU or anyone else. Fuck all you motherfuckers. You guys can bomb each other as much as you want. You guys are the ones saying fuck you to Ukrainians and fighting aside, not even wanting to send equipment to Ukraine. To the point where 9 out of 10 promised equipment isn't even delivered. And the promised equipment isn't a tenth of what Ukraine should have gotten. So hey, I tried to warn you motherfuckers. Russia invaded Georgia in 2008, Ukraine 6 years later in 2014, war for 8 more years in Ukraine before launching a full-scale invasion. And after all this, you motherfuckers are still like, yeah, let's not send money to Ukraine. You know, like Russia will stop there. You know, I'm Austrian. I sit outside a cafe for 7 hours a day and get paid 5,000 euros. And you know, I'm just so tired of this war. Just let it stop already. Give Putin what he wants. Why die for Danzig? Hitler didn't attack us. Why attack Hitler? So you guys can do whatever you want. Austrians literally elected a party that was founded by a literal fucking SS soldier. SS soldier. So just so you guys know, this is a life tip. If you want to constantly be on the right side of history, be on the opposite side of Germany and Austria. Just remember guys, it doesn't matter if your country is on the map or not, because sometimes the best ones aren't. Erbil is the most populated city in the sort of existing country of Kurdistan, and it looks very good. It's located in Iraq, and genuinely this is one of the best looking cities I've seen in the Middle East, with it retaining its beautiful Middle Eastern architecture. And I think Middle Eastern countries would be much better if they retained their traditional architecture instead of building these corporate bullshit skyscrapers that look so soulless. Another good example of cities like this is in Oman, which is a country in the Middle East which you might not have heard of, but trust me, not having heard of a country in this region is actually a blessing. You see, Oman can produce upwards of 1 million barrels of oil per day, but they don't build bullshit skyscrapers, from which a lot of countries could learn. I'm off to play Metafore Fantasio, but please subscribe because I'm trying to reach 300k subscribers by the end of the year, and it will be a very, very good New Year's gift for me by you guys, and I would appreciate it a lot. Thank you a lot, and goodbye.
Hope you enjoyed. I didn't really know what to say about all that. I don't really know much about any of those. But let me know what you thought. And if I guess you've been to any of those places, or you live there, or you're from there, or any of those things, let me know. And until next time, bye bye.